Alright guys, in this video, I want to talk to you about the extend keyword. And if any of you guys out there are programmers and you guys used inheritance before, then you're going to feel right at home with this. But for those of you who aren't really familiar with programming, the extend keyword, what this allows you to do is basically have CSS that you can include inside other rules. Sounds kind of weird. When would we ever want to use this instead of just typing it in directly inside the rule? Well, say that we have all of these panels, which are just like little boxes on our website. Now, they all have the same basic styling, but we have different variations of each. For example, we might have a little panel, which has smaller font. We might have a big panel, which like has a border or something, but they all share the same basic CSS properties. Well, what we could do is we can actually do something like this. We're first going to make a CSS rule, and this is just going to be called panel. Now, this class is going to have all of the shared properties that are going to be shared among every single panel, no matter whether they're big, small, yellow, green, whatever. So a basic panel always has a border of, let me just make something up, like 3 pixels, solid Dodger blue. And let me give it a background too. So background, I'll say like light green. And also I'll give it a margin of 10 pixels. All right, so any panel of any type that we create on our website, they're gonna have these properties right here. Now, I also wanna include something called a little panel. Now, a little panel is going to have all of these properties as well, but it's also going to have like, I don't know, maybe like a smaller font size and some padding or something, who knows. So what I can do is I can actually take this, copy it, and paste it right in here, but that breaks the number one rule of programming and web design. You never want to repeat anything. That's always a rule that you should try to follow whenever you're pretty much doing anything on the computer, programming, doing web design. Try to never repeat anything. Well, we actually want to include this code in here, so how can we do that? Well, what we could do is we could use the keyword extend. Now, inside here, we can say, what do we want to extend or inherit? Well, all of the code from this panel class, whenever we extend it, we're pretty much saying we're going to inherit from this. In other words, behind the scenes, it's going to take all of this, copy it, and paste it right in here. Now, the cool thing about not actually copying and pasting it is because if we ever change a property up here, any place that it gets inherited into, or any other panel that inherits it, it automatically gets updated. So now let's just do something like change the font size to like 12 pixels and add some other things that are only going to be specific to the little panel. So padding, I'll set this equal to like 5 pixels. Now, just so I can show you guys why this is actually useful, I'm also going to make a big panel. And that's not what I wanted to do. Let me tighten this up just a bit, mate. All right, so little panel. Also going to make a big panel, and I'll just change the font size on this to something like 32. This is going to be a really big panel, and 20. All right, so both little panel and big panel both inherit all of these properties, and if I go right here, then we can see they all get these shared properties, but then we can add properties that are specific to each of these panels. Now let's actually see a demo of this. So div class, and this will be little one first. So little panel, I'll just write like little panel and big panel. And big panel, look at that. Now let me refresh this and check it out. So remember, those shared properties were a 3 pixel solid Dodger blue border, a margin of 10, so they aren't butted right up against each other, and a background of light green. Pretty awesome. Now I'm looking at this, I'm like, you know what? This background, it isn't really vibing for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to, I don't know, like this baby poop color orange. Yeah, that's what I want right there. So instead of having to change it in little panel, in big panel, in medium panel, in kind of medium panel, all I have to do is change it in one location, and look how awesome that is. So you guys can see already that extends, or is basically just inheritance, where you take a little chunk of code and inherit it in other properties or other rules. It's going to save you a whole bunch of time. And yeah, there you go. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you guys in the next video.